Hello, 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 and welcome to the second version of the Sanibel Captiva Guide podcast. We just made a beautiful recording. I think it was the best recording we've ever made, but we forgot to hit record. So now we're going to start. This guy over here forgot to hit. So now we're going to start again, but it gave us a little bit of prep, and now we're able to practice and know what we're talking about a little bit. So anyway, you only benefit from it. Hey, so we've got a good guest here. I'd like to introduce you, Rob and Amy, and they both own Captiva Water Sports.
At Tween Waters.
At Tween Waters, yeah, and basically got a long lineage in the area. Both moved here when they were very, very young. High school sweethearts, probably not, but they went to school together at Cypress Lake and then met later on. But let's get into your background. Amy, you started Castaways at Blind Pass, is that right?
Right.
Your parents.
Correct. Yeah. It was Castaways. It was Blind Pass when we moved in, and now it was called Castaways. And they took a job managing the property. We lived in one of the cottages on the property, which at that time we were a family of 5. Plus we had Tommy, which Tommy was an adopted brother.
Right.
Yeah. So 6 people.
And how many bedroom cottage? 2.
Oh, no way. Really?
Yeah.
That's cozy.
At first, and then we did, upgrade. But it was a big leap, too, even for the people who hired my parents to say, sure, you
come along, you and the whole gang.
4 people, yeah.
Right.
So we moved
air
up.
Conditioning,
yeah,
right?
we moved up. But for years, my brother and my sister and I all shared a room, and you know what? We were fine with it.
Yeah, you don't know any better.
Yeah,
I'm sure at that
we
point.
were okay with it, and that was sad to see, that it was gone, that it's gone.
Right.
Right,
So
yeah,
since
lost
Hurricane
it.
Ian.
Yeah,
it's no
since
longer.
Ian, yeah. But and then we moved just a little bit up island onto Wild Lime Drive, and I grew up on the island.
Went to school at
Went
the
to school at
Sanibel
Sanibel School, which when I went, it was called Sanibel Elementary.
Right.
And
K through 5.
K through 5, there was only one class then per grade, so it
Right.
was very small. We still had a bus, of course.
Oh, you did?
We did. We had a bus. Mr. Redmond was our bus driver, and picked up all the kids on Sanibel and Captiva that were on the west end, not the east end. So.
Okay.
So, Rob, how did you end up moving down here?
I grew up on Fort Myers Beach.
Right.
So my father opened a practice on Fort Myers Beach as a dentist. And I grew up down there, kind of running around that island. So she was on Sanibel, and I was on Fort Myers Beach.
But you went to school together?
In middle school, we both left our islands of school because Fort Myers Beach Elementary was the same, super small, single classroom for each grade. When we went to Cyprus, she graced us with her presence 1 year.
1 year, yeah.
And we met, obviously in middle school. No feelings yet, thankfully. But it worked out well for us.
Right.
Yeah.
So then you stayed in public school, and Amy went to the private school.
I opted to go back to private school.
Okay.
Yeah, growing up on an island,
Yes.
a small town, and then going to Sanibel Elementary to a private school, small classrooms.
Right.
So public school was a little too
I know.
Yeah.
Max,
too much for me.
Max always says at Fort Myers High, when Sanibel kids would come, they would be like deer in headlights.
Yeah, well, I went to Sanibel until 4th grade.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I left in 4th grade, and I was a deer in headlights. I
Yeah.
went to Tanglewood.
Yeah. But then when you went to Fort Myers High, which is 2,000 students, then the
Yeah.
Sanibel kids would come there.
Yeah, after they left, because then it was middle school, so after
Right.
8th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Rob's graduating class in high school was the size of the whole school that I graduated from.
Tiny.
So
Really?
ninth through 12.
Yeah.
The whole high school was equal to his graduating class. So
Wow.
it was just different, yeah.
Yeah,
It was just a
different
big
times.
difference.
So you both obviously are in water sports now, but Amy, you've got a long lineage of charter captains in your family, I understand.
I do.
So that was after Castaways or during?
So when we still lived at Blind Pass, my dad, Jim Burnside, my maiden name is Burnside, he started...
Local legend, by the way.
He started guiding there. And at that time, there wasn't a guide that left from Blind Pass. And he didn't know what he was doing. So this was probably in 1980, somewhere right around there. And he started guiding.
You can remember back then, like Andy Rossi,
Yeah,
the
they were
guys that were fishing in the area at that time weren't like hand out, hey guys, this is how it works.
No, it was, it was a handful of people, and it was a tight-knit club.
Right,
and
which I think it is still kind of that way.
It definitely is. You know, there definitely are groups of guides that tend to flock together and hang out together, help each other out while they're out there.
Yeah.
And not others.
No, there's.
I think that's fishing. That's fishing everywhere, though, isn't it?
Goes on. Obviously, you know, the secret spot.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
That everybody knows about.
there's a lot of those. Yeah.
Oh, you've been here too. Yeah. You take him to the secret spot. As long as you never come again, I've already been.
Yeah. The problem is that charter guides are also big gossips. A lot of people don't know that. That's why they can't keep a secret spot.
Ah, that's it. Yeah. I want to talk about their big catch.
Yeah.
Well, the best guides are the ones that entertain their guests, not catch all the fish.
They're good storytellers, right?
Yeah, that's right.
They are. That's my brother says that it's 90% storytelling.
So your brother's still currently guiding out of...
My father and my brother are still currently guiding.
Okay.
So my dad started at Blind Pass, and then he moved to Tween Waters. I don't even know how long ago. I'm going to say more than 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow, and he's still guiding.
And he's still guiding out of Tween Waters. He's been there. He was at Blind Pass. He went to Tween Waters, and those are the two places that he's run from. And he's built a good business for himself. He's got a good name. He's a great fisherman.
Yeah.
And so, of course, my brother decided to join him in fishing. He enjoys it as well. And also, he's a great fisherman. So,
what are their name of their boats? Their company? How would they get a
it's
hold
the
of
Captiva saltwater fishing team.
Okay.
And my brother, Jimmy Burnside Jr., is primarily doing that now. My dad does still guide, but it is on a more limited
I can imagine.
schedule.
How old is your dad? Still.
Well, he was born in 48, so what's that, 76?
76, wow.
Still fishing.
Still guiding.
He'd probably be upset if
I know, okay.
I'm sure he will
You
be.
didn't hear it here.
I don't, he likes to stay busy. He's a hard worker, and I don't know what he would do if he couldn't guide.
I don't want to state this. Amy's being very understated. These guys are really, really well known in the area and very well respected as far as fishing goes. And not that I particularly know them very well. We met your brother by jumping in his
pickup truck.
Tell them the story. We were hitching back from
Tween Waters.
There was something going on like
it was the Christmas lights at Tween Waters when they did the tree lighting. And there was no parking at Tween Waters, obviously.
Yeah.
And so Nick, I think you parked down.
They had a
Sanibel.
parking lot down at Sanibel, and they were shuttling people backwards and forwards.
On buses.
But the line was so long when we wanted to leave. We had the kids and everything with us, and we're like, we can't be bothered. Let's just walk. But we got half a mile into it before we realised how far it was. And then so we started sticking our thumb out, and guess who stopped? Your brother.
Yeah.
He regretted it because Laurie dropped her phone in the back of the truck. We got off. He put us all in the back of the truck, dropped us off. Very thankful, and what a top man for stopping. But I think Laurie left her phone in the back. So I had to. The next day was phoning around people. Do you know a guy that was?
But we didn't even know who he was.
We didn't know his name or anything.
Oh, yeah.
There was a white truck, and that's about all we knew.
Yeah.
And we got it back.
Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. White truck, big mouth. You'll find him fast. Yeah. That's him. Yeah.
That's funny. So did they do tournaments as well?
They do. Rob did a few tournaments. He was never really into the tournaments.
Sitting at the dinner table with those guys nightly was a way to learn a lot.
Really? Yeah.
You know, they're not on stage. They're telling everyone how their day went. You know, there was this and that. And the tournaments are a lot. You put a day worth of fishing in beforehand. You're catching bait before and after the tournaments. You are going to the captain's meetings. You're going to all the events. So it turns your 12-hour day into an 18-hour day.
Right.
And then you
might not win.
Right, and that's what I was going to say. You have the top guys in the area that are out there on the water just as much as you, that are, that have the skills and the
and
ability.
A lot of luck, I'm sure.
Yeah.
A lot of luck too.
Luck.
But a lot of the tournaments are won by guys that pair up with other guides or friends of theirs that know fish. A lot of us as guides, we would be hired by people that weren't necessarily horrible fishermen, but at the same time didn't have the skill set that some of the other guys that fish every day would have.
Right. So you're no slouch of a fisherman yourself. We first met when we went offshore with a mutual friend of ours, Kevin Fairclough, who owns a similar type of business down on Fort Myers Beach.
Correct. Shout out to Holiday Water Sports.
Holiday Water Sports, Fort Myers Beach. And so I remember that you spent the whole night before picking up bait and catching bait, and then we left at way too early, like probably 5 in the morning. It's still dark. Ended up 60 miles offshore, then came back again, then cleaned all the fish. Long day, isn't it?
It does turn into a long day. Yeah. The offshore fishing is nice because it reminds me of when I was a kid fishing around here and stuff. You know, you don't see anybody.
Right. Oh, that's another time. You can't see the land. Yeah,
there's no land. There's no boats pulling up on you. You know, we talked about the secret spot earlier.
Yeah.
Out there, you know, if you see a boat when you're heading a mile off, you know, you're like, well, let's go this way instead, because you don't want to be on top of somebody.
Right.
But in the bay, it's changed.
Yeah. There's a lot of people out there.
Yeah. The people that are out there now definitely don't have.
What, the etiquette?
The etiquette's kind of gone. Just to be on top of someone without even caring. Like, I don't know if they don't know or they just don't care.
Right.
But they like pull right up on top of you, like literally crossing your lines, and you're like, there's like 10 spots on the shoreline. Did you have to do that? You know?
Right. Yeah.
So the bay fishing is very, very crowded. And now, obviously, all the guides out there now, you know, are back 10 years probably because of the lack of people in the area right now.
Right.
But it's definitely going offshore is what I enjoy more now, for sure.
Yeah.
So that 60-mile run at daylight, you get to watch the sun come up and
go down.
Yeah.
No, I don't think we did that.
I'd
day,
rather do the bay fishing.
Guess who? That was the first time when I met your brother, was when he turned up at the end of the day to help clean fish, as if he hadn't had enough of fishing. Rob spoke to him, and then he turned up and was.
I'm completely shocked that he turned up to help clean fish. Honestly,
it was incredible. I'm like, you do this every day of your life, man, and now you're coming to volunteer.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
We caught him at a good moment.
Yeah.
Oh, really? He wouldn't normally do that?
No. I usually say, for me, he's good for 1, maybe 2 favors a year, and it can't involve heavy lifting.
Oh, gotcha. So the ride in the pickup truck, that's our favor for probably the rest of our lives.
I think he's a lot nicer to new people than to me, his little sister.
That's the brother-sister thing.
That's the brother-sister
no,
thing.
he would do anything in the world for me. He's a good brother.
Yeah, I believe that. Nice. So, Rob, how about your background as a fishing guide? Is that what you started in when you were?
No, I actually started crewing on a parasail boat on Fort Myers Beach. I was covering for a friend of mine. It was kind of a spoof thing. I was working in a custom cabinetry shop, not liking what I did at all. Growing up on the beach, having friends on the beach, they all worked on the water. And I covered for him. He went out of town for 2 weeks. So.
And you were what? Only like 16?
Yeah, I was like 16. So I covered for him while he was out of town. And the very last day that I was working for the guy at Island Parasail, it was down at the Holiday Inn on Fort Myers Beach. It's not even there anymore. Right. He asked me if I would stay on. And I was like, well, that was no notice for my boss. You know, like I got to give this guy notice. So I called Tim and said, look, I'm really sorry, but this guy just asked me if I would be willing to stay on. And he said, I knew you were gone the first day you left.
Right.
And I was like, wow, well, thanks for being understanding. You know, and then I started crewing. I was just the deckhand mate kind of guy on the parasail boat. It was a platform system back then. It was 2 boats. So the pull boat took off and the customers all landed on a separate boat, took off and landed on a separate boat.
Really?
And then obviously progressed with that, moved up to the north end of the island a few years later, and then was able to have enough sea time logged, got my captain's license, had an opportunity to come out to South Seas, start running one of their boats. Their head captain left after 6 or 8 months that I was there. So at 20, I was like the head captain at South Seas running their parasail boat.
Oh, really? Wow.
So I was put in a really good position.
Yeah.
And then Amy and I met that following year through our mutual friend that we were talking about, Cheryl. And
so when did Captiva Water Sports come into the picture?
Captiva Water Sports took a little bit longer because
it was always something in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
Not
Rob
so much
was-
Amy.
yeah,
I
Rob.
really enjoyed the water sports industry. When I got married with Amy, her parents, obviously their background, knowing I had a captain's license, said it's time for me to stop playing and start working. So they put me in a charter boat and got me out of a parasail boat.
Right.
And I enjoyed it. I'm very thankful. Obviously, we wouldn't be where we were without their help and all of the overflow trips that we did from her father and their business that they built. But running out of Tween Waters, obviously being a charter captain, I had opportunities with Jim being there, introductions that were made through resort people and stuff. So I managed to work my way into another prime location as a young captain that most people wouldn't even have the opportunity to have.
Yeah.
Right.
And then working there, watching the boat rentals fail and seeing the customers on the dock. I'm there 3 times a day, morning, pick up our afternoon trip, coming back in. And every time I'm on the dock, I see people wanting to rent boats and there's no one ever there.
Oh, okay.
So Barry, the guy that owned it previously, I found out he was trying to sell it. And
here you are.
poor Amy.
What did you think, Amy?
I talked her into taking this step and investing money we didn't have into buying this business to try and turn it into what it is now.
Yeah. And what year was that?
It was in 2009.
2009, yeah.
So that's when we bought.
And the best is he talked me into it, which we did have to borrow money and we still had to do financing through the owner at the time. It was a big struggle for us. And Rob still had to continue guiding so that we could pay all. We started with below the nothing. And the day that we signed the papers and we were driving away, he said, "I just want you to know that none of the boats run."
Oh, shoot.
And I honestly thought I was going to be sick at that point. But that's how much faith I have in my husband.
Yes.
So I said, well, we can't change our minds now. So we're just going to have to do what we have to do to make it work. And that's what we did.
Wow.
So it started out pretty tough. It was hard. Rob had to continue guiding. And we had two little girls at that point in time. And so
what year was it you started?
09.
Just at the start of the recession.
Yeah.
So, and then we had a wonderful freeze in 2010.
Yeah.
That didn't help anything, but no, it was difficult. Yeah, we did. We bought the business, nothing ran.
Right.
I knew the potential that it had.
Right.
And it also had the location and the ability to be expanded into the water sports company with the PWVL licensing and stuff, which is super restrictive in the county.
And what does that stand for?
It's a personal watercraft vendor's license.
Okay.
So,
there's only a few. There's limited to a certain amount, isn't
there's 4 in Lee County. There's Fort Myers Beach. When they incorporated, their guidelines were more restrictive. So in the county ordinance, it says either follow these guidelines or more restrictive. So they let Fort Myers Beach start handling those licenses down there.
Gotcha.
And there's 11 on the beach.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Rob was determined. He was determined to make it happen.
Took me like 5 years.
We went to the county and they said no,
Really?
every time we would.
Like I went in
He would
there-
literally just go sit at the county.
County manager's office. Because like in the ordinance, it would say follow these
And,
steps.
yeah.
So I'd meet all those
All the
stamps.
steps.
And then
It said, well, see the county manager. So I'd go to his office and sit.
Yeah.
So I talked to his secretary quite a bit. Never met the man or woman. I don't even know who was working at the time. But finally, it did take a while. But
2016, we were finally able to open up for wave runner rentals.
Okay.
And then in 2017, we opened for parasailing.
Well, let's talk about everything that you offer at Captiva Water Sports.
So it started with the boat rentals. So we offer a couple different styles of boats now. The wave runner rentals and tours, parasailing. We have cut back on some of the other activities with restrictions through insurance and things like that. So like our banana boat rides, they've kind of opted out on
I've
that.
heard that banana boats are on the down.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I
think
don't
a lot of
know.
the issues with the banana boats is that you have a lot of younger captains pulling them, and you get involved with the customers. They want to go faster. They want to go, and the younger guys don't have that ability to be like, sorry, that's all you get.
I think there was an issue as well that
But people were getting hurt.
parasailing companies that were offering banana boats and parasailing, they were using the banana boats to shuttle passengers from the beach to the parasail boat.
As a form of transportation.
Right, and to try and
So
make
like a
things
shuttle
go quicker.
boat, like off the Northeast, they deal with surf all the time. The parasail boat can't get in close enough to pick up safely, and you can't really get a boat in there either. So they would use a wave runner, and the banana boat could wash through the surf. They could load the passengers on that, get them out through the surf, but then they were doing passenger transfers off of the banana boat onto the parasail boats.
Which is, we wouldn't do that. So, I mean,
Right.
Yeah, when I heard
So-
that at the symposium, I couldn't believe like how many people were actually doing it.
Really?
Because it didn't seem like something, but Commercial Water Sports, Chris and Lee Abbott, who make all of our equipment, custom chutes, they make a new passenger transfer banana. It's massive.
Oh, really?
It is designed for that. It's got special hooks that it ties off to the boat so that there's
gotcha.
no, because I think what was happening, there was an incident where one of the customers had fallen between the banana and the boat, and the parasail boat got him.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
so there was a lot of in and out with that through the insurance and the industry. But thankfully, with the symposium, it allows us all to get together every year, talk, sit down with
Try to work
everyone
out
from
these
every
problems.
aspect, from
Right.
the Coast Guard, the FWC, the FAA's there, insurance companies are there, all the operators around are there. So it lets everyone throw all their ideas in the hat to kind of make the safest,
Right.
best
So
situation.
it's pretty safe these days.
It's very safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I first started, like I said, we used to use 2 boats to take them off and land them. The winch boats have added another bit of safety for that. Your platform's always with you. So,
Oh, you would take off from a different boat?
yeah, we
Really?
used to
Yeah.
take them off and land them on a separate boat,
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
which was really neat at the time. It was great. I mean,
Yeah.
to fly a paraplegic or quadriplegic and take them off out of their wheelchair and then land them on their wheelchair, because it was a huge platform that we had.
Oh, really?
So you could roll them right in, it was
Yeah.
a good experience. It allowed a lot of people that wouldn't be able to. We still do that on our boat.
You do?
I
Yeah.
just flew a kid the other day that was in a wheelchair, actually.
Oh, that's cool. Did he enjoy
we,
it?
we do our
He did.
best to accommodate.
He did. So
Everyone.
we're very lucky. At our location, we have a dock we can leave from, or we pick up on the beach most of the time if the conditions prevent it.
That's huge. There's I don't know if you know, but I used to do a lot of paramotoring, which is flying with the gliders, basically
The backpack style.
And there's a company out in Utah that does the same thing, and they do parasite. Not, I'm trying to think of the free flying where you do it
Hang
off the
gliding.
mountains. No, it's with a wing, but thanks, help me out.
Paragliding.
It's paragliding instead of
Yeah.
paramotoring. Yeah, quite easy, really. But he's got a whole charity where he'll take paraplegics and disabled people and everything. So it's so cool. I mean, like, to get that freedom of flight is
Right.
something else. It's something that actually I've got a friend in England who's big into drones who got paralysed when he was a kid, and he's huge into drones and talked about it with him about maybe getting up one day. So yeah, it's an awesome thing. Yeah.
Do you
Very
do
cool.
paddle boards as well?
There's a company on site that does kayaks and paddle boards.
Okay, so
The resort
separate.
has started offering the kayaks and canoes. I don't know if they still have canoes or not, but they started including that in their resort fee for the guests.
Oh, okay. So it's
So, but
included.
there still is a private company on island or on the property, just like us, that subcontracts through
Okay.
them that offers that stuff
Right.
there.
And just to say, like, if anybody's thinking about coming to Captiva, definitely check out Twin Waters. It's one of the few resorts that's actually completely renovated, new restaurants, new. It looks amazing. We were there yesterday morning, had breakfast there. And the restaurants are fantastic. Everything's ready to go. So definitely check it out.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they've definitely come a long way.
Yeah.
Property's come a long way. They've made some huge strides compared to what we've been through the last couple of years.
It's
So,
amazing what they've
Yeah,
been able
they've,
to.
they've worked hard to keep things going. I give
Yeah.
them a lot of
They
credit
do.
for that.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
they
sure.
wanted
Yeah.
to get open as quick as they could.
Yeah.
And
yeah, they did for both storms. I mean, they were pretty much back up and running way before we expected.
Yeah.
So, which was nice to
That's nice. Yeah, especially
have
for
somewhere
you.
to go home
Yeah,
to.
for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
What do you do for your tours? The wave running tours? What do you
So
do?
the Wave Runner tours are typically a 90-minute tour. We leave Gulfside and usually go around North Captiva. So the whole front side of the travel on the Gulf side is like a structured free ride, not like a horse trail ride where you have to follow the guide. So that way it allows the customers that want to run fast and stuff, they can kind of zip around and ride with us as a group still, but not feel like they're so restricted. But the family members with children
Right.
that want to ride behind the guide, he kind of sets a regular pace. But it still opens that up for them. And then on the backside, obviously, we come back through the bay. And then by then, it is a horse trail ride because of the eco-sensitive area with the sandbars, oyster beds,
Right.
now some debris
Right. You got
so with the guide, we keep them from really getting in any trouble back there. But we stop along the way. We try to find as much wildlife as possible, obviously.
Dolphin, I'm sure.
Dolphins, typically dolphins and manatees almost every time. The manatees in the winter months are definitely harder to find because they do tend to head up the rivers. But anything we can find, we're usually looking for. Schools of stingrays, you know, very occasional shark or two out there. Right. Usually whoever's in the front with the guide might see them.
Turtles.
Turtles the same.
Yeah.
If you can sneak up behind a turtle when they pop up and they're not looking at you, they'll stay on the surface a little bit longer, which makes it nice because then you can point them out. But if they pop up facing you and they see you, they're gone.
Yeah, we were just in the Bahamas a couple of weeks ago, and we were on a catamaran, and every time we looked around, I said, I think of the 100 turtles that we saw, if you combine the actual viewing time, if you stacked them all together, it's probably totaled about 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Because they would just pop up, wouldn't they, Max?
Well, we had a running joke that if you just pointed out a random direction, by the time everyone looked around, they would have no idea if there actually was a turtle there or not because it was gone every time anyway.
Yeah.
So we just started just lying. Oh, look, a turtle. And then everyone would be like, oh, it's gone. I'm like, oh.
Sorry.
Yeah, they're definitely one of the hardest things to spot. The parasail's a great option to see them because as the boat runs here and the chute's flying,
you can see the outlines of everything, can't you?
Well, when
Dolphin
they come up to the surface, you can pretty much see everything, which is nice. But the turtles will come up and stay up because there's nothing threatening them. There's nothing that makes them leave.
Right.
So as the chute dangles off to one side or the other, obviously they can get a much better view. Right. So we have a lot of people see schools of the cow-nose rays that come through. We've got pictures on our websites of guests that have taken photos of filling the whole screen.
Speaking of that, what is your website so people can check that out?
It's CWSCaptiva.com.
CWSCaptiva.com.
So Captiva Water Sports.
Okay.
Captiva.
Captiva.com.
So CWS.
And these guys, I think I first met your dad. I was going with there was a family that had been coming down to Captiva for at least 25 years because this kid was 25 years old and was proposing to his fiancée. Your dad and I went out with the family, and I was doing a surprise photo shoot. And while they were actually, I think they went out on another boat, and I went with your dad, and I was sitting there talking to him, and he was telling me how many different families they have that come back. And he said he'd seen this kid from year dot all the way up to 25.
Yeah.
Like, seen them every single year without fail. Yeah. Had them on boat trips. I was like, man, that's pretty incredible. You know?
It is. They do. They have a lot of customers like that they've seen these kids grow up, go off to school, get married.
Yeah.
Don't be so modest. You have plenty of kids like that.
Oh, well, I do, yeah.
You're getting to that age now. Too.
That's true, yeah. I've done. We've got friends that I actually did their senior portrait. And we were at a wedding the other day, and now they're married, and they're
done
their family portraits, their firstborns, their
that's true. That is
true.
Nice.
It is nice.
It is nice.
I think that's one of the most unique things about the Sanibel Captiva area. I mean, you just hit the nail on the head with it. Families that find this area stay with it.
Yeah.
You know, and unfortunately, we've seen a few things with the freeze in 2010. It affected our snook fishermen.
Right.
They closed our season here. It was open on the East Coast.
Right.
They obviously still want to catch snook, so they tried something else.
Right.
So it affected us with that. I think with other issues that have shown up with storms, things like that, people have gone other places. But I think ultimately it comes back to that's where people like to call their vacation home.
Yeah.
You know, like it's what they're used to. It's what they've seen for not just their parents brought them. It's their grandparents were here. It's the fourth, fifth generation of families that come and spend time on the islands.
And it's not just, there's not just about fishing either, not to take anything away from the fishing guys, because that's not what I'm trying to say, but like there is shelling, I know, Amy, you said about finding did you find a?
No,
the Junonia. We were talking about that. Rob has found one. I've never put in a hard search for one.
I'm with you every day. See, I've been on the beach probably, I don't know, thousands of times, like at sunset.
Yeah.
And people say, oh, you must have found a ton of shells. To me, and don't take this the wrong way, please, I just look down and I see shells. I don't see different shells. I mean, it's just...
Where did you find yours, Rob?
I found one of them on the pathway coming out of Tween Waters.
On the path?
On the pathway, yeah, like in the dune vegetation. It was broken. It wasn't whole.
Right. No, it doesn't count. It doesn't count. No, it doesn't count. No, sorry. It's no good.
The other one I did find on Kea Costa.
Really? Really?
And that one is whole. It looks like yours, pretty much. It's about that
The one
size,
Laurie
actually.
got given.
I'll start looking.
Oh, no, she
I'll start
bought it.
looking now. You know,
I think I've matured. I think it's a sign of
that's what
maturity.
I mean. So,
I've started
yeah,
looking
so
now as well.
I wonder how many I passed over as a child.
my
'cause we were
gosh.
just,
Yeah.
like, you know, just chucking them at each other. You know.
Yeah, exactly. No idea of how rare they are. Or
No.
Well, to
no.
Amy's credit, too, running charters. I mean, we did shelling trips beneficially with adults. Like if you would have brought your kids on the trip, I personally would take the kids.
Right.
So one time you guys get an hour by yourself to walk on the beach.
Right.
You don't have to worry about the kids. Is they're going to cut themselves? Are they going to go in the water? You
Right.
know?
Right.
You
So
wrangled the
I would
kids.
take the kids and we would do, you know, just like Amy said earlier with the schools, like Fort Myers Beach had a lot of the similar programs. We got out in nature when we were kids. They don't do that anymore with kids, unfortunately, but we would go get seine nets and drag the grass flats and learn about everything through the ecology between the type of grasses they were from, you know, what type of animals were in there, what type of shells they were. So we learned a lot about the area growing up here.
Yeah. I mean, if you could do an ultimate, like now, obviously things have changed, like with the snook seasons and stuff like that, but it doesn't stop people going out in the water. What would you recommend as like a great day out in the water? I mean,
I look at any day on the water as a good day.
For sure.
And it just depends on the person, you know, because there's something out there that's going to fit what you're looking to do. There really is. Like if you're into fishing, you can go fishing. If it's out of a kayak, out of a boat, offshore, I mean, it's all there.
And just because there's not snook, there's dozens of other species. That you
I've
can
had
fish.
customers on the boat, and I would always have a hard time with this. They would bring their children with them, and you know, they'd be like, "Oh, we're going tarpon fishing today." Well, you brought 2 kids with you, so we're going kid fishing. Like we might try for 30 minutes, and if we catch one, great. But I'm not going to put them through that because the next time you ask them, "Do you want to go fishing?" They say yes, not no.
Right.
No, that was boring. We don't want to do that.
Right, because
I want them to
you
say
can go tarpon
yes.
fishing and not get a thing.
Oh,
can
yeah. No, it's like a waiting game. I mean, you can sit on your couch at home and hold a rod and have just as much luck sometimes. So,
I don't think it's quite that bad.
I mean, when they're not biting, they're not biting.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
So if you get that tide and stuff that's right, I mean, I've had spectacular tarpon trips that guys think it's normal where you know.
Oh, yeah, that's the everyday
What's the
occurrence.
best thing you ever caught?
I don't know.
Do you have a top?
Amy.
Not really.
That was she caught Amy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, me?
Yes. No.
Yeah,
Oh.
fishing wise,
Oh,
Oh,
I don't.
yeah. Oh, no, definitely. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm very thankful I have her. I would not have a lot without her.
Anything
I've
come to
never
mind?
really. I mean,
Everything is
when
good
you,
to you.
yeah, like it's all an experience,
Right.
You know,
We were out going for reds, weren't we? American reds.
Yeah.
And
when we were offshore that day.
offshore, yeah.
So, I mean, even on that trip, there's always usually something that will stand out as a memory for the trip. But I don't really like have a. I don't have a
Three
trophy
list.
room at house.
Right.
You know, I don't have animals hanging on the wall.
So
I
why
have,
don't
like-
you tell everybody who caught the biggest fish that day, Rob?
I think Nick actually did
I was
catch
going
the
to say, I'm
biggest fish
guessing you.
to
Oh, I can't believe
recall.
you brought that up, Rob.
We'd have to go through the photos to verify, but there's a very good likely chance that Nick probably was the guy that had the biggest fish on that day.
Fisherman.
But see, a lot of the situations apply like that too. And being in that, like I get just as much enjoyment of watching someone else catch a fish as I do.
Yeah.
So like going out and seeing someone, like you probably noticed that day on the boat, I have a rod in my hand or I have one in the holder,
Right.
you know, but I'm not actively engaged with it. I'm usually re-rigging someone's line. I'm usually helping someone else take a fish off.
He was
know.
not a guide that day.
No,
it was a
not a
personal
guide.
hangout day,
Just,
and he can't get it out of his system. He's still helping everybody out.
Well, the benefit
including me.
is
Yeah.
if you got all your hooks in the boat, you can't catch fish. So
Right.
if I can make that go faster to get the hooks back in the water, I'm going to do that. So
He knew we'd start heading home after once we filled the boat.
Oh my gosh.
no, we've definitely had our limit in the boat and still keep fishing.
And do
Yeah.
you
And it's
still
just-
like eating fish?
Oh yeah.
He does. He does.
Okay, Amy, you're not too sure.
I've eaten a lot of fish.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But no, I'll
do.
still eat. I'll still eat.
And we don't eat fish that often. You'd be
Believe it or
surprised.
not, yeah.
you know,
Really?
because
Yeah, we
like
should eat more.
over the years of guiding, and you get people every day that people offer you fish.
I'm sure.
Right.
And like as a guide, you want to release those fish because they're the ones that are making you
Making
money.
you money.
Like, you,
Yeah, we
you
like
need
to
those
put 'em
guys
back.
there to keep biting, to keep getting your customers happy. So
Right.
it got to the point over years, I would ask people like, how many people are you feeding? You know, because there would be 2 people fishing and then they want their limit of this, limit of that, limit of this. And then you'd get in and you'd have all this fish and they're like, oh man, that's too much. Could you want some?
Right.
I'm like, oh, not really. Like,
I'd rather put it back.
I'd rather it be swimming around still so I could catch it again. So like the resort employees benefited a lot from that, you know, because driving home, long days, like we said, your 12-hour day, you know, by the time you get home, thankfully, I have her, which usually had dinner on the table. Nice. So showing up with a bag of fish at 8 o'clock and saying, hey, I need you to cook this, you know, it wasn't always ideal.
Yeah, it doesn't go over well.
So a lot of it got given away to housekeeping, the marina staff.
It's never hard to get rid of fish.
It's not hard, especially when you got a fresh bag of fish that you just cleaned. It's all deboned.
Yeah, we're very good recipients.
So
we're very good.
By this way on your way.
If I am going to eat it, that's the kind that I'm going to eat.
Do you have a favorite eating fish?
Oh, he does.
I do. There's a few that I like. Hogfish are
That's always
my
the
favorite.
top of people. Everybody loves the hogfish.
So the benefit to that is like most people like it because it doesn't taste fishy. Well, it's fish. Mahi's another one that's up there.
You like triple tail.
Flounder's probably right up there in the top 5 for me. Triple tail's good.
Yeah.
I don't want to eat, like lionfish are awesome, but they're for people like that don't really like fish because they don't taste like fish.
Right.
You know,
No, really, they're just bland.
they're
kind of
super
bland.
mild, super white meat. They're great fish. They're, you know, but it's
normally see them as ceviche and stuff like that.
right.
Yeah.
A lot of guys will turn them into that. And it's so there's a few top 5 there. The snapper are good. Mangrove snapper are one of my favorite. They're close. They're a lot easier to catch.
Yeah, we talked about that the other day with our daughter's boyfriend. Went out last week and did really well on mangrove snapper, so we might have to have a go at that. We'll get some tips later on.
Yes, we're bad fisher people. We're really bad. Really bad.
So, no, unfortunately, the storms have changed the bottom fishing out there for us offshore. You know, it's covered up a lot of spots that used to produce a ton of fish, like diving. It's a good passion of mine. I love doing that. So it lets you kind of take your pick off the menu.
Right.
Spearfishing. So one of my favorite ledges out there that you could go down and just sit on and just take your pick of which mangs you wanted to put on your stringer is completely sanded over.
Really?
Oh, really? It's gone. It's buried.
Like we've tried fishing it on the way in with another trip that we did, and I caught one, I don't know, 11-inch gag grouper off of it.
So the bottom's completely changed.
Right. We couldn't even find it and it was like a 5.5-foot ledge.
See, Rob will give you the numbers for that ledge.
Now he will.
It's west.
But let's not put,
082.
but let's not put people off. We need people come because it is.
You're right.
Still,
I mean, there's still the fish
amazing.
and bottom is out there.
Right.
It's just that it
gives
changed
us guys more of a chance.
Right. It makes everyone have to look again.
Right.
You have to.
Well,
You have
that's
to be on
okay.
your
That's
game.
all
That's
right. Yeah.
So, but no, the island part is still there. The fun is still there.
Right.
It actually takes you back instead of, oh, my buddy gave me this number, and you go there and you have your limit in an hour. Like,
right. There's some not
treasure hunt now.
Yeah, it's more of a challenge.
so it brings it back, you know, to the having to learn how to catch them again.
Yeah.
You know, you got to find the bottom that's good. You got to know what they're eating. Some of that kind of stays in there.
That's awesome.
So, but no, it's been good growing up here. I can't say that I've regretted any part of it.
No.
Yeah.
You know,
And same
anytime.
for you, Amy. I know I mean, you lived on Sanibel
I
since you were
did.
3.
Yeah, I did. I loved it. It was great.
What did you do for fun? Would you?
Oh, well, yeah, there's definitely not a lot when you get to those teenage years.
Right.
There's not a lot going on,
No.
especially when I was a teenager. There really
Even
wasn't.
less.
Yeah, there wasn't even that many kids on that. Now I see a lot of families.
Right.
So now, going back, Max, you tell basically our 3 kids when they grow up here. What did you think of the beach, Max?
I hated it. I hated the beach.
All 3 of our kids, actually, they couldn't stand it. There was nothing worse than going to the beach. All 3 of them went away to college and then came back and fell in love with it again.
Yeah.
I think you realize how when I went to college, I was with friends from New Jersey and like up north, and like it gave me an appreciation for what we had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always loved the beach. I didn't like the island because it was so
Remote.
right? Hard to get to, and it's hard to get a date to come pick you up. Right?
Yes.
But the beach part I always loved. In fact, I moved, I went to school in Gainesville, and I was miserable. It didn't last.
That's because you were in Gainesville.
Yeah, I was so
That's because you were in Gainesville.
I know. But yeah,
There's a bit of FSU.
It was awful. I was extremely unhappy. I didn't last. I only lasted a couple years, and I came home because I was too far away from the ocean. So Rob and I always say that we've gone a lot of different places, and
as soon as you come back,
the further we get from water, we both kind of start to dry up.
No, I definitely need the
don't
ocean
even feel
near me.
right. So,
Right.
yeah.
Definitely
I loved
something
it.
that you feel.
Yeah.
You definitely. We go to the mountains and think, oh, this is so pretty,
think it's
but
good for
like
a
day
week.
3, you're like, I
wanna
need
go
some
home.
water.
Yeah.
And the river's
go
not
home.
doing it,
Right.
No.
Yeah. No, we're very, very, very all fortunate. to
Yeah.
have-
Yeah.
We're very
Yeah.
tied to the ocean, and I think we've passed that on to our kids.
Yeah, thankfully.
Yeah. Our oldest daughter actually works for FWC, Research Institute.
Oh, really? Oh,
She
cool.
works at FWRI. She's doing shorebirds, which she and Rob started diving when she was 12. 10?
11. She was 11. Carly was 10.
And,
We got them both certified.
We actually
at
thought
those ages.
she would go more towards something that was in the line of diving because she loved to be underwater. She loved the fish, but she's kind of shifted to the shoreline. Now, our younger daughter, she's not looking to save anything. She's just looking to be on the beach.
Right. Getting the tan.
Yeah. She's just looking for
Definitely
boys.
more of the entertainment side of the beach.
Yeah.
Not the
How old are your
restoration
kids?
Of the beach. Carly's
19. Abby is 23.
24.
24.
Well,
Yeah.
on the 28th, she'll be 24.
Okay, similar. We have a 20, 21, and Mark's just turned 26. So.
Yeah.
It goes really fast.
Yes, it sure does.
One thing that I didn't mention is you said earlier on that you bought this company, this boat rental company with boats that didn't run. Mm-hmm. It's quite fortunate for me because actually Rob is not only a very talented man in the rental business, but he actually is a superb mechanical technician for boats. So if it's another thing that he does on the side that is, and he did a fantastic job on our boat and completely rigged it out and really was conscientious when he went through it. So if anybody ever needs any work on the boat, I would thoroughly recommend Rob to do that. So
in the industry, it's hard. You learn real fast that a marina's not open at 5 o'clock, and they're not going to fix it by 8 o'clock in the morning. So
right,
you learn how to fix things on your own pretty quickly.
yeah.
So what kind of boats do you have to rent out? Is it just so
we
people
do
know?
a 19-foot center console. We used to have a lot of deck boats out there, and then just before Ian, we bought all these wonderful new fiberglass pontoons that are more of a trimaran. They've got 3 fiberglass hulls underneath them, so they actually plane out and run with the 150 on them, which are our larger boat now that will accommodate up to 10 people. And they do really well. Like when we first got them, I was really hesitant. The other companies out there, our competition, so to speak, Jensen's brothers were great.
Right.
They were huge help for us when we started. Great family out there, the Jensens, but they all had pontoons. So we kind of wanted something a little different
right.
to try and offer something else on the island.
Right.
So I was always hesitant to go towards the pontoon route. We found these fiberglass boats, and they do really well. Like when we were out breaking them in and getting them running after we got them rigged, I was pretty impressed by the way they performed.
Yeah, they're a bit more solid than your average pontoon.
They are with the and they plane out. Like a round pontoon struggles it's fighting through the water the whole time.
Yeah, or they always, even when they're planing, they look like they're plowing a
Right.
bit, don't they?
They do. So the fiberglass ones with the planing hulls that they have, it actually gets up and runs.
Nice.
Definitely more fuel efficient, which with the
And when
customers.
Everybody
you do
likes-
half day rentals, full day
We do
rentals?
4, 6, and 8 hour rentals with the boats.
Okay.
And then the wave runners are half hour and hour rentals. Parasailings are timed flights.
Can
Right.
anybody come in and rent a boat? Do you need any
No.
kind of?
We ask that you have boating experience.
Okay.
Right.
We asked that. I
Right.
rented an RV once, and the guy asked me if I'd ever driven one, and of course I said, "Oh yeah, I'd never even stepped foot in one." So we took this 58-foot
we
RV
do
down
stress
the
that
road.
I'm
it's
sure you do.
necessary
So-
just because
Oh, yeah.
we are such a shallow water area and
Yeah.
they're doing
Right.
a lot of their navigating on the bay side.
Right.
But limited experience really is all you need.
Right.
You know, because
Just take it slow and.
Yeah.
It is. I've actually gone through stuff with customers. We have a chart we go over with them. If you have some basic knowledge, docking, anchoring, reading a chart, following a compass heading for a brief moment. But we cover all of that too, kind of reinsure that we don't turn the rental into a rescue.
Yeah, I think the worst thing you can do as a boater, I mean, I've been boating here for many years, and I think the worst thing you could do as a boater is turn up and say that I'm fully experienced. It doesn't matter how experienced you are. If you don't get advice on the local areas, it will bite you.
Oh, yeah.
I can tell you from experience that you'll be running aground and it will be an ugly day. So.
You sound like the two kinds of boaters around here. There's those that have run aground, and then there's those that lie about it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
We've all run aground out there. It's, it's just part of it. It's the shallow water area.
Right.
So, I mean, it's
going to happen.
It will.
Yeah.
But if you do, like you said, take it slow and easy, and make sure you know where you're at with the chart and the markers. They're easy to read. They're easy to follow. So if you just stick with what you're shown or what you're comfortable with, usually we don't have as many issues now as we did when we first started out.
The best advice I always give, I think the best advice I've learned is never follow another boater. Correct. Because you don't know their experience, and you might be following somebody that's just picked up a boat 5 minutes before from Rob's place or any other place, rental place. If you're not sure where you are, literally stop in the water and then figure it out, because I've seen so many people following people into. Well, we see it going over the causeway. There's a really shallow area. You guys must see it all the time. As you go over the causeway going to the island, look to your left. There's a huge shallow area there. And in season, you'll see a boat that's stuck there waiting for the next tide, probably every other day.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Every other day. Yeah. And it's a huge channel. I mean, you've got literally miles on one side. If you're the wrong side of the marker, you're running aground, and people literally do it every day. So don't follow other people.
That's very good advice.
Rob actually does. He tells people that.
I tell people that.
And
you never know if they know where they're going either.
You might be able to run more shallow than the boat that you're in.
Same thing. Yeah. No, I had the sheriff following me in one day, and I was trying to wave him off. I'm like, don't follow me.
Right. You don't want to be here.
And I was running through a cut, and my Morgan runs very shallow, and he got stuck.
Oh no!
Really?
I kept going, but of course it's so shallow I couldn't really stop to
because you would have been stuck.
Because then we would have both been stuck.
Right.
So it wasn't very beneficial for him that day. I tried to tell him he didn't have his lights on, so I didn't think he was trying to pull me over at least. So.
He lost that opportunity. All right, Max.
What if he did have his lights on and you're just like, no.
Exactly.
Turn around.
I thought I was just waving at him. I don't know. All right, Max, you got some trivia for us?
I have some trivia.
Hold on, Laurie's got to pull out the boards here.
All right, we have official boards that you have to write your answers.
Oh, my goodness.
I hope everyone's good at history.
Yeah. All right, so it's heavily weighted towards you guys to succeed. So
there you go. Do you have a favorite color?
There we go.
All right, we're ready.
All right, ready?
Yeah, I'm so ready.
So ready. All right. This isn't history. This is legislation.
Say that again, Max.
Legislation. Okay, according to the CWS website, Florida law says you need a valid ID and a Florida temporary boater's certificate to operate a wave runner, jet ski, or boat. Temporary test options are listed below. Sorry, I copy and pasted this. Skip that part. If you were born in or after what year? So you need a license if you were born in or after what year to operate a boat.
Oh, because they changed the rules. When we first moved here, you didn't have to have it.
You could be grandfathered in to operating a boat without a license if you were born before what year?
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
This is on your website,
Oh, you don't need a
Rob.
license if you were born before?
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
What did
If you were born in or after this year, you need a license.
Oh, okay.
You don't need a license if you were born before this year.
Okay, I got it. It's on your website, guys. Come on, you must know. Oh, born on this site. I thought, when did the law come in?
On or before the date.
Okay, so that'll be minus that. Okay, got it. Hold on. I've got to change this. Hold on one second.
Is that because you looked at somebody's answer?
No, I've just realised I put it when the law came in, where actually it's...
Max is shaking his head.
He has no idea what he's talking about.
No, I do.
So were you 21 then when they changed the drinking laws from 18 to 21? Is that when you remember the dates?
I missed it. I was 20, and they
It went from 18 to 21.
Yes, I was like 17, and they
then
changed
they
it to
changed it.
21.
So you thought you had
I
1
missed
year
it.
left.
So she
Yes.
borrowed her sister's ID. Oh, don't tell her that. All right. Okay, I've got an answer now.
Mine is totally wrong. I'm going to say 2012, and I know that's a terrible answer.
Wait. That would make
Born
them
before
12 years old. They need to get a license.
That may have actually been when they actually started enforcing it.
That's what. See, that's the answer I
Exactly.
put
Thank you,
first.
That's what
Rob.
she's thinking.
Thank
I
you,
put
Rob.
2008 first when I thought they started enforcing it, but then I wised up.
1987, is
I
that what
put
you have?
1987.
Yeah, January 1st, 1988.
January 1st, 88.
Yes, Rob and Amy are exactly right. It is
Is the official
1988.
date.
Oh, I was only a year off. Not bad for a non.
Well, technically just one day, Nick.
Oh, that's true.
January
Yeah,
1st
one
of
day.
88.
Yeah.
So you only missed it by 1 day.
Oh
Okay,
shoot.
I missed it by a lot. All right, next.
Yeah, Mom, that doesn't make any sense.
No, I know, it
That would
doesn't.
make
I
you
just
12
picked
years.
something.
Anyone over the age of 12 does not need a license, is what you just said.
So technically, if you're 14, you can operate with a voter safety license or a valid voter safety card. So like
There you go.
when Max was young,
Yeah.
if you wanted to let him operate your boat, then he could at 14 with that license.
Right.
With the license.
That's right.
So
But
for us,
you don't
it's
need a
a
license. You
little
guys don't
different
need a
with
license.
deliveries. We have to have a valid photo ID. They have to be at least 16, proof of age, like a valid
Right.
photo ID and a voter safety certificate.
Really?
So anyone under 37 now that we're in the wonderful new year, 25.
Oh, yes.
But they can do that online right there and there. can't
It's
they?
easy to
They
do.
can.
Yeah,
It's
there's a
really
few
easy to
different
do. We
companies.
try and encourage all of
Do
our
it
guests to
before.
go online and
Do it before.
there's a temporary test on our site that's valid for like 30 days or 90 days. I don't know. They keep changing it, but it charges them every time they do it.
Right.
And it's only valid for so many days. There are sites like boatus.org that offers lifetime courses. They are a little bit longer, but
Then
they're
you're done.
valid for life.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay for it, and you don't ever have to do it again.
Oh, wow.
Actually, I
Yeah.
did. I
So-
did do one, even though I didn't have to. I did one at the Coast Guard.
There's
Yeah.
a
Down
lot
on
of
Fort
people
Myers
that will.
Beach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can do a lot of boater safety courses online. You can do them at the Coast Guard Auxiliary offers one. There's the Captain's
That's right, that's
School
where I
in
did it.
Cape
Yeah.
Coral. There's
Yeah.
all kinds of ways to educate yourself, especially if you're new boat owners.
Right.
And
I've
if it's
seen-
NASBA approved, it doesn't even have to be a Florida course. So if you're
Oh,
visiting
okay.
from another state, but you did their state's course,
Then you're still
then
good.
we can recognize that.
As
Wow.
long as it has that insignia from that NASBA organization, it'll reciprocate in Florida
Oh.
because it's a standardized test for them.
Interesting.
All right.
All right, Max.
All right,
Hit us.
question
2
2.
to
Now we're
0.
getting into the history.
Okay.
CWS is located at Tween Waters Resort. Tween Waters Resort was established by F. Bowman and Grace Price in what year?
I don't know.
That was like
What kind of first name is F?
The resort? Okay. I honestly, I don't know. I'm just.
Laurie's just read a book about
No,
it. So
I don't know.
She,
don't know.
she did. She just
I
read.
honestly
She read a book about it, and
I guessed.
Well, you can't
and I
fault
know
her
that
for
I'm
gaining
wrong.
knowledge.
And I'm probably not right, but
I'm actually
Okay.
surprised Amy didn't know this. If you said you didn't, did you say you didn't?
I
know this?
don't know. I definitely don't know it. But I gave it
Do
a
you
good
know, Rob?
guess.
I know
You
it's
think you're
wrong.
right?
Dad, we need an
Okay.
answer so we can talk about everyone
I said
else's answer.
1908.
okay.
1908.
Okay.
Rob, what do you have?
I've got 1920.
20?
I put 1932.
32?
I put 58.
31.
Oh,
Mom is right.
31.
All right, we have a three-way
So
tie
half
with 1
point.
point.
Three-way
knew-
tie, 1 point.
All right,
I knew
this
mine
one,
was wrong.
This one.
I was just trying to
is-
remember when
is-
Roosevelt was there and all the stuff, and
was a long
that kind of
time ago,
threw me
yeah.
off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, we
crazy.
weren't here then, you know. So
Yeah,
Neither was I.
yeah,
Actually,
exactly.
Well, Tween Waters is on the national
They
Historic
are.
registry.
They are. Yeah.
registry.
yeah, that was one of the things we had to do to get one of our licenses was deal with the historical society. So we actually
They were actually the easiest
permitted.
ones to do.
They were the easiest,
Really?
but they were one of our help stepping stones on getting
Yeah.
our licenses
Oh,
in place. Was
You
getting,
had to learn about the history.
no, just get approved
Approval?
through
That
the
we
historical
weren't going to
society.
do anything to, I guess, change, dishonor. I don't know.
Right.
Oh,
Mess it
gotcha.
up.
I'm
Gotcha.
actually on the board of the Captiva Historical
Oh,
Society.
nice.
Are you really?
Yes, I just became a board member.
She's a very
Congrats.
important
I'm very
person.
excited.
Very nice.
Public announcement.
That's very nice.
All right. If you know history and you know jet skis, then you know the answer to this question. One of CWS's offerings is jet skis. What year was the jet ski invented?
Oh my goodness.
So you're talking about like a stand-up? Like a Kawasaki?
Like the jet ski.
Just the jet ski.
Not a wave
So
runner, I
stand
guess.
up.
That's
So like a jet ski.
Like a real jet ski.
Oh
I
my
think I might
goodness.
get this.
That was
Okay, I will say this is according to the first link on Google, so it could be wrong. It says that the jet ski was invented in this year, but the PWC was invented long before that. So I don't know what the difference between a jet ski and a
personal
PWC.
watercraft. They used to have these things that had 2 floats on them and like a deck chair. So that would have been a personal watercraft, and it had an outboard motor on the back.
All right,
Did
so
you remember
know
those?
all the history.
I
of
don't
jet skis.
remember.
I've seen them about though, haven't you?
No?
I've seen similar, not with an outboard though.
Yeah.
I've seen like the Craig Cat with
Right.
an
That's,
outboard.
yeah.
So those were like 2 pontoons with 2 chairs
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah.
But
All right,
those
I'll
didn't
give you
come
guys
about
some more
until, like,
information.
2010.
The,
All right.
okay,
I
wait, I got
guessed.
this.
I'm
The
not guessing. I know the answer to this one.
The original
wasn't a canoeing.
Kawasaki introduced the first, I don't want to read the date, the first production stand-up PWC.
Okay.
It was called the JS400. If
Okay.
that helps.
Is that changing your mind, Rob? Okay.
Oh yeah,
right.
that's that. I just saw what Rob wrote, and I think he could be. I don't
Okay,
know.
what did you put, Nick?
I put 1979 because I thought they came out while I was living in Bahrain, and I was living in Bahrain in 1979.
I put 1956.
I said 52.
52.
68.
68. 73 was the
73.
answer.
Oh.
Who's closest? Is it Rob or Dad?
68, 73 is 5, and I'm 6. So
Rob wins. A clean 2 points for Rob.
Surprising, they won back
The
questions.
Jet Ski
about their own-
Historical Society.
Oh my
Ring
goodness.
the bell, Rob.
Oh. I'd like to see a
Is that
picture of
guest
what the
services?
original
Is that guest
was.
services?
Yes.
All right, excellent. Well, thanks very much for joining us, you guys.
Thanks for having
No,
us.
very much
Yeah.
enjoyed being here. Thank
Anything
you
we
for.
missed that you want to tell us?
No, the island's coming back. Well, we just need our families
Visitors.
that remember this place as their vacation home to come back.
They're home away from home. How many people?
Yeah, so I can't tell you how many people that have called me and been like, "Hey, I'm looking at you," and I'm like, "Oh, are you in town?" They're like, "No, you're my screensaver." And I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, that fish we caught, like
that's
we're holding
awesome.
the fish." So,
Right.
or the group with people that went parasailing or things
Yeah.
like that. So the families that come back, there are a lot of properties that are starting to open, rental companies that are here, restaurants that are open, like you mentioned, Twin Waters, Green Flash. There's a bunch of places that you can still make home here.
Yep.
It's actually a great time to come because it is quieter.
Right.
And
If they
you'll
remember-
never have the island to yourself like you will now.
Right. That is one huge benefit. If you remember coming here as a kid and you always complained like during spring breaks and things like that you couldn't do anything because everything
Right.
was booked and
Right.
Yeah.
everything was packed and you waited 2 hours to go to eat. That's definitely not happening right now.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Come on down.
So positive.
so yeah, definitely positives for that. So it is. I mean, the
Not
beaches
for
are
us,
there.
but for visitors.
What's
I
that?
said not for us,
Not
but
a
for
positive.
visitors.
No.
No, it's not
it
positive for us. Obviously, that's what, I've always joked
Drives the
around for
economy.
years. We're not toilet paper. We are definitely not a necessity.
Right.
So we are total extra, but I do like to think that we are what families make their memories here. You
Yeah.
stay in a hotel, you stay in a house, you go to dinner, you do those things, you rent a car. But the activities you do with your family, whether it's something with us or getting on the water with someone else or whatever it is, that activity is where those memories were formed.
Yeah.
So we want to encourage people to try and get back into making those memories again.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well,
agree.
thanks for joining us. Please remember we're actually starting now. We're upping our frequency of our newsletter to twice a week. And so make sure you sign up for that. We're committing to twice a week, Larry.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. So make sure you sign up for that. You can go on the sandcapguide.com
/newsletter.
/newsletter. And anything else on that note?
No, we're going to put the Rob's and Amy's website down below so you can check that out.
Check it out. So thanks very much for joining us. Max might even
Play the music.
Oh, play the music. That's
Yeah,
my
there
job.
we go. Thanks very much, guys.
Thanks for
See you on the
having
next
us
one.
Guys.
I was asking who won because